Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the channel. Tobin here with you. If you guys could, subscribe here. Subscribe also to the 560 WQM YouTube page. Watch Tobin and Leroy every single weekday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can also watch on Twitch. And you guys can get involved in the chat, interact with the show, and always have fun with the audience there. Hard Knocks, Episode 3. Probably one of the most diverse episodes that they have done. The first episode, obviously a lot paid attention to Mike McDaniel, Tua, the whole shebang. We got to look at the Tyreek Hill, and they were a big focus for this episode too. For episode 3. Episode 2 was, of course, the Jalen Phillips episode, broke our hearts. But this kind of, it went all over the place. And you got the feel goods immediately because, once again, it was a delight. We got to see just how much Tua loves Christmas. This dude loves Christmas. He freaking loves Christmas. He wants Rudolph on. Nobody wants Rudolph on in the QB room. No one will listen to Christmas music with Tua. And, I just feel like Skylar Thompson and Mike White got to get their minds right. Like, you got to just embrace it because basically Tua pulled a power play right after this. There seemed to be some hesitancy with going with the Christmas music because he wanted Rudolph. Then he's just explaining how Michael Bublé is a beast. And all of a sudden, boom, boom, the staff comes in there, and the QB room is turned into a winter wonderland. I mean, it's Christmas all over the place. The lighting is amazing. There's Christmas trees. There's stockings. Christian Wilkins walks in, and he's just jolly. He's like, this is amazing. The best Christmas room I've ever seen in my life. And it was a delight. It was a delight to see how much Tua loves his Christmas, and we got a little taste of that in the epilogue of the episode as well, where he's having everybody rank their favorite Christmas movies, to which I believe Raheem Mostert put Home Alone number 1, or Home Alone was his top spot. I think he was the whole series, the classics, of course, not when they replaced Macaulay Culkin. But there was But it was interesting because Bam Adebayo had recently asked, is a Home Alone a Christmas movie? It's absolutely a Christmas movie. I don't even know what Bam is bringing up for debate there. But the big theme, there were two big themes in this episode. The biggest theme, though, I thought was Mike McDaniel. I thought Mike McDaniel and trying to hammer home to the team that they don't want to be in the same spot they were last year. Last year, if you remember, Dolphins 8-3. They go out to California for the West Coast trip, and they lose to the 49ers and the Chargers. And it was kind of a downward spiral. They go have a tough loss to the Bills, probably their most spirited effort of the last half of the season, but they come up short. Tua then, of course, gets hurt Christmas Eve. We, goes through the game, but we don't learn that he has a concussion until after the game. And, the Dolphins had to claw their way in to barely make the playoffs. Now they have matched last year's win. But this was the big theme of the episode from Mike McDaniel. He always does the whole adversity as an opportunity, but he's taken almost the adversity from last year as the opportunity to write this. He referred to it as poetic justice. And this was something that he would bring up frequently throughout the episode, that he wants the team to take what they learned from last year. A lot of coaches say, last year. He, on many occasions, was like, no, we're going to learn from last year, and we're going to take it and channel it into this. So that was really, really cool. He did try a commander's joke. He says they do not command our attention. That got a lot of eye rolls. That was kind of a delight to see that Mike McDaniel's jokes will go flat sometimes on the boys. So that was hilarious. They did a little JPP feature going. He's like, I'm going for my third Super Bowl. That was semi-goosies. That was pretty cool. Mike McDaniel did say he looked effing phenomenal in the practices that they were showing, that he was looking really, really good, even though we haven't seen him quite unleashed. And why haven't we seen him unleashed? Well, that is because we go to probably the star of this episode, and that was Andrew Von Ginkel. Andrew Von Ginkel was the big staple in this episode. They go with Home with the Van Ginkels, who, by the way, shout out to him. His son had a Panthers jersey on, so this dude is a good dad. We know that the Panthers the Dolphins will frequent Panthers games every now and then. The other thing that was hilarious is he has HBO there. They log into HBO because, like, oh, my son loves to watch the Mrs. Von Ginkel revealed that, oh, her son likes to see daddy on the TV. So they were going to log into Hard Knocks. I don't know if that is just double marketing. I don't know what the plan was. But they go to it, and then the login profile, if you have Max, usually it says whatever. It says the Tobins, whatever. And his says Hugh Wang, which, of course, if you just look at it, it looks like Huge Wang. Very mature. Now, he claims he's stealing it. I don't know. I think that he just likes the jokey joke. I think that they like the joke, the fact that Von Ginkel has the alias of Hugh Wang out there, but he then immediately went, not my profile, which is a bold thing to say in front of the HBO folks, that I'm out here and I'm stealing HBO Max or Max, whatever the hell it is now. But my God, that was probably the most hilarious part of the episode, is the Von Ginkels have a profile, Hugh Wang, as their Max login. They go to a Wes Welker meeting. He is basically saying if they go man-to-man, it's over for them. Good foreshadowing. A lot of foreshadowing in this episode. Then Mike McDaniel is sitting there with Tom Garfinkel and is explaining. It was really cool because they did a big feature on I think it was probably the deepest we got into Tua. And they were talking about how he was really, really focused. He's been really hard on himself with the turnovers, and he's been locked in. And Mike McDaniel, at one point, first of all, he talked about how his arm got stronger and basically did all this core work, and is explaining how, Tua has a similarity to Drew Brees and the way that they use that torque in their body and having their feet wide. It was really, really cool. And then, he was saying all that core work that he had done has gotten his arm a lot stronger. And then McDaniel basically said that to Garfinkel, he goes, he's going to go for 450 this week, which, I mean, if he played the whole game, maybe he could have. But it was we all just saw that it was just beautiful foreshadowing that the HBO folks have done. Hard Knocks has been awesome. They've really put these episodes together in a great place. One point he catches Waddle in stride, and then they're joking, they're mic'd up. They're like, "Oh, it wasn't my arm, it was the wind." So they're having fun at the expense of all the of all the arm jokes. And by the way, we're gonna get to you, Micah Parsons. Maybe not in this video, but we're gonna get to you, dude. Mike McDaniel then has a talk with Tua about channeling his frustrations. He's got to be like Mike. He's got to be like Kobe. He's got to be like Tiger, channeling those frustrations in and honing in on that. And so that was a really cool look. I thought we got probably our best stuff from Mike McDaniel and Tua together, which was really cool. Just their relationship. We got a little bit of that in episode 1, but this was the best of that. They did a little bit of a piece on Tyreek Hill versus DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf taking his speed title. Reek says he's not racing him one-on-one. I don't get paid for that. And then we get, of course, the breakdown into the roller coaster, which was really, really cool. Then we get the second mention from Mike McDaniel before they go into the game. He goes, I'm very impressed that a week 13 practice has been better than a week 3 practice, and that is a huge step from last year. So he keeps going into the idea that this 8-3 is not going to be like last year's 8-3. So that was that message he got over many times in this game. So they get to the game, taking on the Commanders, which the Dolphins had basically said going into this game, we respect every opponent. We think we're going to throttle them. They gave a little respect to Sam Howell. It was not quite the feature they did on Max Crosby. It was just like there was one mention of McDaniel going, this guy, baller. So get to the game, Tyreek Hill. He was like, immediately you see the Dolphins all out there. He's like, this is like a bleeping home game. Tyreek then meets with Eric Bieniemy, his former offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs. Bieniemy's very proud of him. He's married now. Said he's grown a lot. So that was kind of cool. And they also simultaneously go back to South Florida because Mrs. Von Ginkel is watching this game at a watch party. So that's kind of cool. And they throw the first touchdown. Cheetah, he's yelling at the Commanders, but just yelling in general, don't play man, terrible mistake. And they did that, and he, of course, scored. They go to back to Mrs. Von Ginkel. We then get the feature on. They're like, Van Ginkel has a 1-year deal. So it's time to prove himself. I was like, whoa, what's going to happen? It's like, you almost don't know. Boom, pick 6. It's like they wrote the script. It's amazing. And Von Ginkel's wife she's like, oh, love when he plays the edge. Always produces. True football wife. She's got the scheme down. She knows her man's strong spots when it comes to making the impact plays. And you get the pick 6. That was really cool. Mike McDaniel just yells out in the whole thing, "Fucking Gink." I was like, that's pretty cool. And then he's yelling at Jalen Ramsey, and he goes, "Ramsey!" That's how it's done. And Jalen Ramsey's like, I got to learn from Gink. So that was pretty goosies. Then we get to the infamous throw where we have the huge touchdown that was dropped in the bucket by Tua, Willie Mays style, which was really cool because there's so much debate. Nobody can just enjoy Tua to Tyreek touchdowns. We got to break down. Was that on Tua? Was that on Tyreek? And I just feel like at this point, Dolphin fans should just laugh. Be like, who cares? They're on the team together. Like, who cares? But it was pretty funny seeing this because, yes, Tyreek Hill's immediate reaction to that was, what are you doing? What kind of throw was that? Don't do that again. That, like, he was happy because he scored the touchdown, but he's like immediately runs to Tua. He goes, what are you doing? And then he's telling people, he goes, this guy Tua is crazy as hell. Like, what is he doing with these kinds of throws? And Tua's like, oh, baby, I threw it in the right spot. I was away from the safety. You knew it. And Mike McDaniel, he goes, yeah, dude, he's just trying to make you go viral. So McDaniel's over there. He's having the jokey jokes. And then they go over to the tablet. And he's like, yeah, what do you know? He goes, I can admit when I'm wrong. Tyreek Hill is looking at that. He goes, I can't believe that. How about that? So going to halftime and same message. Not too much excitement from then on out. They kind of just get their dominant win. Mike McDaniel's making fun of Tua because he doesn't get his shoes. I don't get those shoes either. You guys can mention in the I don't. Is it? I know this is a known thing. Mike McDaniel has a great shoe game. I do not. I am. You can barely get shoes on me as it is with closed toes. But he says, Tua's asking him because I guess he has like the tag on there or something. Again, I know I'm going to get roasted for this, but he's like, what are you, 70? I don't take that. It takes all credibility away from the shoe if I take that off. So that was really cool. And then the last part of it really was that he gives out the game balls and Tyreek, Tua, game balls. But then this was my favorite part of the episode because Andrew Von Ginkel, he just goes, last game ball, and he just goes, Andrew fucking Von Ginkel. And he gives the game ball to him, but you could see it meant something to Von Ginks, dude. Ginks was like, this man's man, lion hair, just throttle people. But you could tell this is a man who, like, he must turn into a different person on that football field because you could see, like, he didn't cry, but you could see there was a glisten in the eyes. Like, there was a little sting there. And then he calls up Mrs. Von Ginkel on the phone, and she's excited because, because they're getting a wedding cake now. Because defense scores, they get a wedding cake. So there you go, man. That was and then once again, Mike McDaniel mentions in the speech just how proud he is that they are not letting last year be this year, which of course was his big theme of the entire week as they go into this Monday Night Football. Also, Tua broke a snow globe over Skylar Thompson's play pad. He doesn't really need it. Who cares? But that was it, man. Very diverse episode of Hard Knocks. They covered a lot of grounds. It was a lot of fun. It was moving all over the place. But goosies galore, nonetheless.